Natasha Diddy's ex-girlfriend for hire, going under the pseudonym Jane, was on the hot seat today under cross-examination, providing more details about her business and sex relationship with Diddy, and really getting into her jealousy that Diddy was showing a lot of attention and going public with rapper Young Miami.
The fuck, like he called, we used to kick it on the telephone and after the maze.
Right.
And the nigga be like, matter of fact, they sent me the girl pictures, like pictures of this girl, like, not the that y'all saw.
Hey, baby, we had a great time. Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are the crack pipe.
Voicemail in which Diddy calls 50 Cent's baby mama his crack pipe was just played in federal court, and now 50 is going viral online, drawing them both into a public battle that is completely upending this case. No one could have predicted how deep this love triangle goes or how it's linked to sex trafficking charges, freak-off parties, and custody threats over a child caught in the middle. Indeed, 50's reaction is as barbaric, devilish, and degrading as you could anticipate, yet this is a federal controversy that started with a voicemail, not hearsay. Diddy stayed mute while 50 Cent produced receipts, Instagram posts, parody videos, and private retaliation that began with a casting choice in BMF. It wasn't just a private encounter that was secretly taped. There was evidence played aloud within a federal courtroom.
Baby, we had a great time. Stay in the light. It's all good. Get your rest. You are the crack pipe. That's my new name for you, crack pipe. Or should I call you CP? But, yeah.
He seems to find it romantic that this voicemail wasn't from 2006, and he was calm and not drunk. It wasn't discovered in the Bad Boy archives, and prosecutors believe the woman on the receiving end was Jane Doe, the anonymous accuser currently testifying. In 2025, it was played in court, arguing against Diddy in his federal trafficking case. But social media and insiders highlight the silent aspect. The last straw for fans was Jane Doe's assertions that she was a businesswoman, a Daphne Joy model, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, and the mother of 50 Cent's son.
And they spent 5 days in a hotel room. Said they had dinner on the balcony, they went all the way, and she let him know that she had a child with someone that he knew. This person did not get along with Diddy, but he said that he didn't.
We all know that 50 Cent and Diddy were intimately engaged, so hearing that bombshell wasn't even the worst part of the court recording.
I want you to stay in the light. You know what I'm saying? We had a very, very good time together. Like, so much fun, so much fun. Now go rest up, get in your bag. You know what I'm saying? Got your contract, find a nice little spot, put your mind at ease. And yeah, I had a great time.
The word contract suddenly changed the entire tone. It was no longer just a nickname or odd flirtation, but rather a business agreement, a financial arrangement, or a transaction enshrouded in romance.
The prosecutor showed text messages from October of 2023 where Diddy said to Jane Doe, "I want to spend the day with you," and she replied saying, "You make it crystal clear what you want me for," and then she asked him, "You're going to spend the day love bombing?"
What was this contract exactly? Testimony claims that Diddy was paying Jane Doe $10,000 a month for more than just rent. He also paid for her clothes brand, furnishings, and veneers. She admitted that Diddy allegedly engaged in this behavior with a number of other women under what insiders now call love contracts, so she wasn't the only one. But for Jane, it was personal because, according to the prosecution, Diddy seduced her with closeness, then ensnared her in luxury, making her emotionally and physically reliant on him. The more she leaned in, the more twisted it became.
Doe calls Diddy a fuck and says she believes he has bi-curiosity. After the short break, Teeny Garagos asked Jane Doe if she was willingly participating in these hotel nights. She said while no one physically forced her at the time, she was a willing participant, saying, "I felt I had to keep the relationship." She also said that the most affection she would receive from Diddy were on these nights and that she liked the parts when it was just him and
she claimed in court filings that she was required to go to drug-related parties, hotel nights including sex, and sometimes scheduled non-emergent nights with male escorts.
For 24 hours, yeah, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity. So set some up for tomorrow night. That last vision we had, that was Dawn and ATL. See you put it together, baby.
One, you got me on my job. It will never work like that over here. Diddy allegedly texted her to make sure she knew exactly what her responsibility was. She said, "You need to get on with your job. You've given me no other option. I'm taking care of you," he said. She implied that it was her duty to take care of him and ensure his happiness by saying, "I am trying to be clear. I am going to disappear on you." When a freak-off went wrong, he allegedly cautioned her again, adding, "Observe the roof over your head with that beautiful smile. And I don't want to do anything if that's still an issue." She stayed until the courtroom compelled her to speak. "Despite everything, you gladly received designer purses?" was a direct question posed to Jane Doe during cross-examination. If the illusion ever faltered, "No, I have trauma," Jane put in response. "Are you aware of what a Bottega bag is?" Giros said. Jane then responded that, "I'm sure you have one." Garagos asked the same question again. "How much does one cost? How much does my body cost?" Jane spat back. They then talked about her jealousy of young Miami, which was already noted in her notebooks. She testified that she was being brought in and out like cargo, while Diddy treated Miami like a gem, going on public dates and making appearances on the red carpet.
His former chief of staff, Christina Koram, and asking if they got along well. She testified that KK actually disliked her and that negatively impacted how Diddy would treat her. She said, "I believe she had strong opinions about me, which influenced a great deal of how Sean also treated me." Now, remember in Jane Doe's testimony how she had said that KK told her to fly to Miami with substances in her bag? Well, the defense team pulled up a text message saying it's not written in these texts. Well, Jane Doe confirmed that it did happen, but it happened verbally over the phone.
This clarifies why Jane's hostility against young Miami was grounded in legal leverage in addition to being emotional. She asserted that Diddy took advantage of their agreement by accusing her of being needy and manipulative, and that she was forced to put up with his nights because he threatened to stop providing for her if she didn't. Her voice broke at one point as she described attempting to cover up bruises with makeup after he reportedly choked her during a fight. She admitted to the court that she still yearned for Diddy's attention in spite of everything, but she also described living in his world as being like living in a bubble where nothing felt genuine. At this point, everything was gloomy. She claimed that Diddy texted her directions on what to bring, what to wear, and when to show up, in addition to just inviting her to events. It is also said that he asked her to recruit additional people. She still texted him love messages, showed up for hotel nights, and thanked him. She also said that he promised them gifts, flights, incentives, and rent to keep them silent. She further asserted that he was running a network of women who were coerced into transactional sex with unclear permission, which the prosecution now calls a freak-off company. She also asserted that the love contract was genuine, which she demonstrated in court, and that she accepted Diddy's $10,000 offer when he asked her what she wanted, which was $15,000 a month.
Now, first of all, this was not a written contract. This was a verbal contract. You know how you and your man is talking and you asking him for some money to pay some bills. So I guess Jane Doe and Diddy were talking or whatever, and he said, "How much do you want your allowance to be?" And Jane Doe said, "15K. I want my allowance, my monthly allowance to be 15K." And Diddy was like, "No, it's going to be 10K." So they agreed on 10K.
She had to go to the lifestyle even if Diddy had bought her furniture and helped her start a fashion brand. In her testimony, she claimed to have consented to an all-star night in which she and Diddy would throw a hotel freak show including their top 3 male talents. She began making excuses after claiming she wanted to go, and she sent him a photo of pink toilet paper that suggested she was having a period. He answered, "They wrote a 2-year contract. Don't ask for money again." 50 Cent didn't hesitate because the moment this courtroom chaos occurred, the court fell silent when those texts were read aloud. This is because for every sob story, there was a designer bag. For every violent moment, there was a cash transfer. And for every freak-off night, there was a suite and a contract. Therefore, The question was whether Jane was a victim or Diddy's favorite plaything, rather than whether Diddy had too much authority. Hit the news. He lost his mind. He launched Instagram, shared a selfie of Daphne Joy, and wrote the most sardonic comment of the year as the caption. Hey, does anyone know who Jane Doe is? I'm attempting to investigate this. Though screenshots of the post went viral on TMZ and many hip-hop blogs, it was taken down within hours. The inference was clear. 50 wasn't just mocking her during a federal trial. He was exposing her on the biggest stage by using her own picture. Then the second post where 50 Cent and his son Sire famously side-eyed the camera with the phrase, WTF. But 50 was more than memes. One of the most vicious parody films of hip-hop culture has ever seen was published by him when he assembled his AI team. A parody of the classic sitcom Beginning. Freak Off Family Matters features Diddy, Daphne, Cassie, Young Miami, and all the other names connected to the Freak Off allegations. Dancing to the music.
It's a rare condition this day and age to demand a freak off with so much rage. But stranger's addiction, and you'll never find. Some people say that he's losing his mind. Well, then there must be some magic juice inside the Punisher. 'Cause all I see is a chocolate thing. Man, they're busting over everything. Days gone by. It's the biggest break of the sand.
In 2023, 50 Cent made a subtly assertive move when it first became apparent that Diddy and Daphne were more than just friends by casting Young Miami in his own show Yes, BM, the Black Mafia family drama he executive produces. We're finally recognizing it for what it was, a hit job, when most people thought it was just a cooperation. If you think that 50 was jealous, you should reconsider. Daphne was still subject to her love contract at this point, and she continued to live in the mansion that Diddy had financed with monthly payments. 50 chose to turn it into a streaming check, even though he was aware that Diddy was having an affair with the mother of his child. But the most humiliating position of them was reserved for rather than sharing a cute photo or a memory with his son, Father's Day 50 posted this joyful Father's Day Tiny, I'm going to get full custody soon. Little, you'll be back on OnlyFans in no time. Additionally, it was problematic because, only months earlier, 50 had claimed full custody of their son Sire due to Daphne's involvement in the Diddy case and her name being connected to the sex trafficking investigation. Wasn't keeping quiet. In fact, she had been effectively christened by the internet by this point, and her next step would backfire. Daphne Joy's courtroom drawing is Jane Doe, the bizarre receipts and the testimony that was leaked for a moment. It seemed like 50 Cent was drowning in it, and every sign pointed to her as the baby mama. But then she responded, and it wasn't a subtle one. She posted a personal motto on Instagram that spoke to everyone, not just the 50. An electronic shout by disputing Lil Rod's assertions that she was Diddy's hired prostitute, suing 50 Cent for slander, and outright accusing him of raping and abusing her. She made it apparent that she wasn't taking this lying down. You are no longer my oppressor after all, and God will now deal with you.
She explained to the jury that love bombing was a very common manipulation pattern that she would get from Diddy, where he would shower her with affection and then he'd want a hotel night. She responded to him again saying, I'm not an animal people can F on, and he responds with, you're crazy. She said that he would call her crazy often, especially if she said she was uncomfortable with doing a hotel night. And
she asserted that every time she asked for something, a new couch, cash for her child's dental appointment, or anything else, she knew the price would be her life. We left her there when she refused, but Diddy reminded her that the cameras were still there and recommended that they just go out to a movie. 50 Cent is still posting memes, Diddy is still paying her rent, and Young Miami is still riding on the back of Diddy's bike, smiling like the Queen of Chaos, still crying, still testifying against one of the biggest names in music, and still on the stand.
So I'm just riding around the city, you know. Riding around the city today, we just celebrating. We outside, we painting the city red. It's off the grid. The Love album, Off the Grid, coming out tonight. It's the Super Bowl of R&B. As y'all can see, I'm in my city. And I'm just feeling good. It's a celebration. Feeling glorious. Happy birthday to my brother Nas. It's his birthday today. It feels good to be home, good to be putting out great music. To all my R&B lovers and fans, tonight at midnight, it's gonna return to that frequency, that feeling, baby. Yeah.
Because the real question isn't who is at fault, even though everyone is pointing fingers and cheering back.